Now, we have all heard of clairaudience, and clairaudience is a psychic ability. And what it means is that you are able to hear things through your mind. And a lot of people who are developing this ability often confuse it, and they're not quite sure if they do have clairaudience or they have that ability. And basically, there's a lot of ways to determine if your clairaudience or your clairaudient ability or gift is actually activating. Now, when we've heard the term ascending or spiritual awakening, a lot of times certain symptoms that are mentioned in that have a lot to do with your clairaudience, if you have that ability. And a lot of people do develop it at different stages. Some are born with it. But one of the main things that stands out with clairaudience is the high-pitched ringing, high-pitched sounds in your ear, or how high-pitched ringing. Essentially what is happening is that your clairaudience is activating in your DNA, in your body. So this ability is actually now being activated. And so that's why a lot of times people will say, you know, well, I hear this high-pitched frequency, and they associate it with a symptom. You know, of course, if you rule out all medical symptoms, a lot of people will associate it with spiritual ascension or, you know, a spiritual awakening, but it goes further than that, and it is clairaudience. It's one of the ways that your clairaudience is activating. So if you're ever hearing like a buzzing sound, or like a bee, you know, that just passes by your ear, but then there's no bee, and it's just some kind of high-pitched sound or a buzzing or a humming, this is one of the ways to determine whether or not you have clairaudience, or the beginning stages of clairaudience. And a lot of people will freak out, and they're not understanding, well, why am I, you know, going through this? Why am I hearing this? Everybody has a specific time frame or a specific time in their life when that gift activates. But it's pretty cool to have the clairaudience, to be clairaudient and have that ability. Other ways that you can determine if you are having that is that one of the first things that, well, one of my first experiences was being in a cemetery and hearing my name being called out, yet there was no one there. And I heard it with through the mind, not so much through the ears. Now, with clairaudience, a lot of people think that it's actually that you hear spirit or you hear your guides or angels through your regular hearing, you know, through your ears. But that's not how clairaudience works. Clairaudience is almost like telepathy. It's hearing through your mind. So you're going to hear spirit through your mind. But a lot of people can sometimes hear it through their regular ears. But I was there in the cemetery, and I just heard my name being called out, and that's how I kind of knew, you know, there was no one around, and the only other explanation was that it had to have been clairaudience. Years later on my spiritual path, now I fully understand where, you know, that is coming from. So like I said, if you are hearing your name being called out, and there's no one there, it can be that you are developing your clairaudience, or it's activating, and you're now being able to hear things through your mind. And sometimes when you hear things through your mind, it's not like you're hearing, you know, sometimes you hear your own voice or your own thoughts, but it's actually spirit using your, you know, your body, because your body is a vessel through which spirit can communicate. And you have to realize that spirit no longer has a body. So since they don't have a body any longer, they don't need their actual human, you know, a human voice or human vocals to communicate with you. They cannot do that. So what they do is they use, you know, their vibration and their telepathy to coincide with your telepathy or your clairaudience to get those messages across to you. So again, it's not so much hearing through your regular ears, it's going to be hearing through the mind. But you know, there's different ways to hearing or tuning into your clairaudience ability. And a lot of people, one of the pressing questions that a lot of people ask, well, how can I develop my clairaudience? You know, maybe I've heard a little bit of spirit communicate through me or communicate to me, and I just don't understand. So somehow it just went away, or I can't fully access it anymore. A lot of factors are going to play into that, and I know that I've said this in other videos before, but you have to be in a relaxed state of mind. So if you are really anxious or going through anxiety, or your mind is thinking on other things, you're not going to be able to fully develop your clairaudience. So a lot of clairaudience out there, clairaudience, they will actually be in a relaxed state of mind, so they can get these messages across from spirit to them. Other things that they will experience throughout their whole journey as a clairaudient is that they're going to be sometimes when they listen to songs, or you may find yourself, that you have an inclination, like you're inclined to listen to music, or somehow when you listen to the words of a song out there, from your favorite singer or artist, and you are listening to the lyrics, those lyrics relate to you. Something in the music moves you internally, moves your soul. That's what a lot of clairaudience out there, they actually have that connection to music, to sound. They're very, there's not a day that goes by that they don't turn on the radio or listen to some kind of music, and it relaxes them. That's one of the ways that that you may be a clairaudient, because songs do carry some kind of messages from spirit. And you can actually use music to help you develop your ability. Just listening, spending maybe like 5-10 minutes with your headphones on, or with the radio turned on, or your smartphone, or your device, and just listen to music that somehow that moves you or can relax you, put you in a relaxing state of mind. Other things that you can do is just take, when you are around no one, if it's possible, just spend some time in a quiet place. It could be your bedroom, living rooms, just somewhere where it's your sacred place, and there's nothing but quiet, and kind of turn off all your electronics, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, anything that would be distracting from you, and just close your eyes and take some breaths, and just sit there and listen to the sound of your breathing. Listen to the air that's circulating. Just listen to the environment around you, and you will notice that sometimes you will actually be picking up clairaudient. That's a way to boost or to increase your clairaudient ability. Just picking up the sounds around you, because the world has a lot of communication going around where you're at. It's just a lot of times we don't listen. That's the problem that we find with clairaudience. A lot of people just don't listen at all. We're so busy. We live in a world where everybody is, go, 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 and they never have time for themselves, or they never make time for themselves to just sit there and just listen, to in silence. Sometimes I do that. I will just sit in my my bedroom or my office, and I will just shut off all music, everything, and just listen to the sounds around me. And sometimes I pick up information. Other ways that you can know that if you're a clairaudient, or maybe that gift is picking up, and it's happened to me personally, so that's why I like sharing that knowledge with you. One of the ways that you'll know is, let's say you're on, I don't know, a lot of y'all out there still have house phones, but I have a house phone, and if you have a landline, not sometimes it may work on your cell phones, but if you're on your wireline or landline phone, house phone I like to call them, and you pick up the line, sometimes if you were born in the late 90s or 2000s, you may not be able to relate to this, but anyone that was born early 90s or in the 80s, 70s, going backwards, they may understand where I'm coming from. But with landlines, sometimes when you pick up the phone and you're listening, you haven't dialed yet, you're just you pick up the line, you hear all this static. Sometimes I've actually heard voices, and I've heard static, but the voices are not clear. But there's somebody communicating on the other line, and it's not a cross line. At first, when this happened to me, I thought, I was skeptical, and I kept saying to myself, no, this is not something paranormal. It's just probably a line that's crossed. So I called my telephone company, and they came over, and the telephone company said, no, everything is fine on your line. There was no way that this, and my phone was a brand new landline phone. So even today, if I pick up my phone, and sometimes I just have it to my ear, or I may be holding, I may have already dialed the number and the IVR for a company that I'm calling is answered, has answered, and they have me playing with the music there. Sometimes I can actually hear voices that are not from the other, the other side of that, where that rep is at, because of course they have me on hold, so I'm listening to just the IVR, but I can hear voices. Sometimes you can hear it through your TV if, just have your TV on, and if you still have like the analog signal, where it's just a white screen, sometimes you can hear that. And you've seen this adaptation on Hollywood movies where, if they have like a blank screen on the television, they can hear spirits sometimes. So these are different methods that you can utilize to your benefit to see, if you can hear things. But like I said, it's not going to always be hearing through your ear. You're going to hear or receive messages from spirit. It may be a soft, gentle voice if it's from an angelic being, like an angel or guardian angel, an archangel, or if it's just your spirit guides, it may be like a soft tone. If it's a loved one, their voice may be very prevalent. You may hear them. So it's really, really good to, kind of develop your clairaudient ability. And a lot of people, like I said, they have those questions and they're just not sure how to proceed with it. But over time, you will master that ability. It is one of your psychic senses. And it's just, a matter of not giving up. A lot of people will get discouraged so easily and say, well, I used to hear this, or maybe I just heard my loved one who passed speak to me, and it was in it was in broad daylight, and it just happened one time, and I no longer can hear them. It's not so much that you can't hear them, you just have to focus, and that's basically all it is. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you are on my watching this video now through YouTube, there is a subscribe button on the bottom right hand side. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that way you can be notified instantly on any new videos that I have made. If you are on my website, it's www.psychicmediumray.webs.com. I have not added any of my YouTube videos or links to my YouTube, but I'm going to be modifying in the days to come my website to include all of my YouTube channel videos on there somehow. So you can look forward to that. And if you're on Instagram, it's Psychic Medium Ray. And on Instagram, on the upper right hand corner, you will see like 3 little dots if you go to my page. If you click on those 3 little dots and you scroll down to turn on post notifications, you basically are like subscribing to my my page or my Instagram. And so anytime I post any kind of quotes or anything on there, you'll automatically be notified as well. If you're tuning into this video strictly from YouTube, I do have a Facebook page. It's a professional Facebook page, and it's Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. So I want to thank you so much for all of you out there, who tune in and that are actually taking the time to listen to these videos. I do make them for y'all. So thank you so much, and blessings and love and light.